How are you guys?
Brandon, how you doing
great.
now? Yes.
Good. Well, thank you so much for coming on to this IG Live today.
Thank
you
so
for
much
having
for
us.
having
Thank you so much. Yeah. Guys, I just wanted to let you know that today I have Paul and Tiffany, who are the founders of Second Chance TV. They are the producers of the show, which is really exciting as far as the way that you guys got into it, and especially knowing that your stories are so different from one another. Paul and Tiffany, your stories are so different in the way that you connected, the way that you got the show up and running. So if you could just give us a little backstory about how you guys started Second Chance Production TV.
Okay, well, I started Second Chance TV with fallen celebrities out of Hollywood, California. And when I met my wife, we were just friends at the particular time, she came with the concept of stating that, look at your story, look at our story. They just don't only need the second chance. I think everybody around the world needs a second chance. So we did our concept episode with a person that needed a kidney transplant, and it became very successful. And from then on, we started our Second Chance Saves Lives.
But it was initially inspired by Paul's past and what he had been through, being wrongly incarcerated twice. Experience scam, the second one being a child support that was unable to be paid due to being incarcerated. So it was kind of like a back-to-back thing. And along with a lot of other things that had happened in his life, really inspired him to want to help others because he had been homeless twice. You know, he feels to not have help. As well as myself, I know how it feels to get to where I am today, without any help, without any encouragement. Support. So because that's one thing that we both have similarities in, and that's why we joined together and are so passionate about saving lives, is because of what we've been through.
Yeah, so that is amazing, because that was one of the things I wanted to know, because the backgrounds are so different. Knowing that you, Tiffany, entrepreneur, businesswoman, what else? The story goes on, and then Paul, you know, the champion kickboxer, right? And you, and this has been, you are a 3-time world champion kickboxer, actually, right?
Yes.
And also renowned gang unit officer.
Right. Yes.
So all of that, it's like, wow, for you guys to connect on that kind of level, to say, hey, you know, let's blend our stories together and let's create something that's going to make an impact on people's lives. So the very first person that you guys got in on this was for a kidney transplant.
Correct.
And so you were you in production at that time?
No, we just filmed a concept episode of the story, and then from there we just like, okay, this is gonna work, and let's go out more. We didn't really go out further as we wanted to until until we highlighted Michael Harris on Daily Mail, try to get him out of prison. You know, that's when it sparked up and people want to know about Second Chance Lives and things like that in that nature.
So what, how did you go about getting them sort of freed from being incarcerated? Like, do you know any programs that maybe you went through, or was there a certain process that you had to go through to get them to a certain?
Well, we have Forgotten Prisoners right now. We just started this show, but with Michael, we just highlighted on Daily Mail. A lot of people knew who he was, and so people was reaching out and things like that in that nature. But unfortunately, we was unable to get him out at that point in time. We went to the judges, federal judge from Texas, and he was unfortunate not to get him out. But you know, Snoop came and he, you know, went to talk to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump pardoned him based on what was going on with Second Chance Saves Lives, and then he signed us with us as our co-owner. And then from that point on, I didn't have a connection how to get out. I had to plead my case to the judge. They tried to go with my guidelines, so I had to speak what God initially told me. That's the only freedom I had. And so they dropped the charges and released me. But at that time, I stayed 14 months incarcerated until my trial day came up.
Mm-hmm.
Happened in my life where, I didn't have the resources, anything like that to get out. But now now we have the resources as a show called Forgotten Prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
And this Forgotten Prisoners, we have Phil Moss, who's a New York attorney that's on board, and we get people to submit to us, and then we tell their stories at the studio. And so what we do is we highlight them, bring their family over, and then we'll have maybe a video of the person, the individual who wants to get out for a few moments, and then we'll fly his family down. And Phil Moss will always be on the show and tell the reason why this person should be not incarcerated anymore. So we have the resources to do it now. But at my time, I didn't. So that's why I came up with this show, Forgotten Prisoners, because now it's really now to highlight them on CNN, where all the governors, all the mayors, everybody's looking at CNN.
Right.
So highlight this show, then everyone will see this show and try to get these people either fair shot or get them pardoned. So that's what the Forgotten Prisoners show is about.
That's amazing. So how are you actually finding the people? Are they sending letters in to you or emails? Like how are you finding these people? And also, how are you able to really know if they are telling the truth about their story?
Well, Phil Moss, again, he's the ex New York attorney, one of the best attorneys in the world. He see these submissions and he go through their cases and say, "No, he's not innocent."
Review the evidence.
Review the evidence. Then he gets the I think it's his private investigator to review all the things with him, and he caught one eye that was Marquise Rayner, his story where he was falsely incarcerated for murder, and now he's still in there. We got a trailer of him on our IG page, and that's the story to highlight the world of what we're doing and try to get this individual off for murder that he didn't commit, basically.
But to answer this, people, as we market, people have actually been reaching out and submitting, going on our website. That's where you can submit for all three of our shows: Second Chance Radio TV show, Second Chance Saves Lives, and Forgotten Prisoners. And to answer your question, they've been reaching out. And we've been getting some stories where family members have seen our posts on Facebook and social media, and they're submitting all of their information, their date number, what happened to them, why they believe that they're innocent. And so that we take those submissions and then pass it over to the attorney, who will then go through the steps.
Wow. To go through the steps to see. So it's got to be a lot of sorting through to figure out who's real, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And
Right.
what these people actually are going through, Paul, because you've been there.
I've been there, and then once Michael Harris got a hold to actually my brother was in prison, and he found out about our organization through my brother from Long Park, California, and then we spoke on the phone on several occasions, and he stated that he'd been 10 years over his time, and they just wanted to just keep him in there. People weren't able to get him out, like Van Jones wasn't able to get him out. No one was able to get him out. And at the same time, I was like, look, this man been in too long. They doing him wrong. He got from the state and they run to get out on parole, and all of a sudden, Feds was, okay, we got you now. So it's just a lot of things that's wrong in the system, in the justice system. And with me being, I knew it was a lot of things that went wrong with me. So I just like. Look, man, I'm gonna see what we can do. So we fortunately put it out there, and Daily Mail just put it out there around the world. And we had so many, I think it was 5 million views on the video and almost 8,000 shares all over.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, even like when we think about just put you in, just in your position, how many years first were you locked up?
Well, I was 14. They released me because I was a flight risk. They stated, because a black man, that they said scam the bank, fraud the bank, and then another Nigerian black guy. We can't get him, but we're gonna get you. That was their deal.
So something you don't know.
Right.
He ran after being indicted. He ran for 2 years and got a new name and was under someone else's name. And so he was a flight risk. And so once they found him, that's when they held him and say, okay, you have to stay here and wait for your trial. And that's when he served the 14 months.
Well, the reason why I ran, people say that maybe he was guilty. It wasn't that. I was trying to prove my innocence. I remember I seen a movie before where this guy ran and he proved his innocence of a murder case that he had. So I'm like, listen, I'm going to run. I'm going to prove my innocence through the Secret Service. But years and years, but 2 years passed, and I was trying to find out who I connect with. When Barack Obama became president, I called the White House, and I finally talked to someone who was his assistant or something like that, and try to help them, to try to help me, to try to show, hey, listen, I'm happening to me. You know, I got an education, I got 2 masters and things like that. I didn't do this crime, and try to give them the evidence that I gave the Secret Service people. But unfortunately, they got upset with the Secret Service. They went after them. They just made them more matter. And so they called me up and said, listen, one guy, big from the White House, he was one of the big shots. He's like, I've been with the Secret Service 25 years. He says, I'm going to come get you. And just hung the phone up. And
oh, wow.
And got me by 2 days.
He sure did.
Know? So,
oh, wow.
Covered everything up as far as when I called Barack and all these things. Everything was covered up. So they just want to just get me. That was something that...
And how many years were they trying to have you for? Like, how long were they trying to?
They was trying to get me for 10 years. And then they went over my guidelines, which the federal can, because of the prosecutor attorney and then the Secret Service. Like, look, he manipulated the system. His brothers was in prison, they said, for all these things they done. And they got 30 years. So he just like his brothers. And they was trying to put all this stuff with the judge. The judge kind of believed him. And he says, I think he deserved more time, and I'm going to give him more time. So do you need anything you got to say before I sentence you? So I just got up with God's favor, and I went over there and spoke in front of the podium. And usually Judge Ledington don't let nobody speak more than 30 minutes. I spoke for this man 45 minutes, pleading my case.
That's right.
And that's when hey, listen, I don't think you had nothing to do with this, and I'm going to drop 2 to 40 charges, and I'm going to release you today. And
wow.
Like, are you serious? Like,
oh my goodness! I know. I would have been like, and told it like, I know your heart had to drop. Like,
my heart dropped. It just wasn't me that he did the favor to, because when I usually they put everybody together for their trial. I get out. They take me back to the holding tank, and this guy passed by. He said, I want to appreciate you. And I said, why? He said, because I pleaded for 10 years, and the judge only gave me 4 years. I'm able to see my kids more. He started giving people a favor after that. So he didn't like discriminate on blacks. That's what I think he was. But at the same time.
So you felt that you needed to do this for other people.
For other people. I want to just highlight people, not just for a second chance in life because they homeless and stuff. And right after that, I was homeless. And then I get out, go to the federal, and they say, okay, now we're going to put you on supervised release. We're going to just charge you with at least one. Because we think you had something to do, a little something. But they did it because they know I can come back and get them for false imprisonment. So when the government slick, they're like, okay, we're going to charge you for one trial. So they had a felony on my record. I couldn't work. You know, I had brought me. So I was homeless. And then as soon as I walk out from the federal for 3 years, then the child support picks me up. Expedite 5 days on a bus back to Michigan. And I was there for 6 months.
Now, how were you feeling at this time in your life?
I was feeling like, well, you know, I was just so upset at the justice system, and I was just so upset at a lot of things that was happening in my life. But I kept hearing a voice saying that, don't worry, everything gonna be all right. This is a part of your story. You're gonna make it as part of your story.
Wow.
Finished there, because right after that happened, you know, then, you know, my mom passed away after everybody disowned me, actually, in the family. They disowned me. So my mom passed away. 3 months later, my dad passed away. Then my twins passed away in a Hurricane Harvey in Houston. They passed away. And as soon as they passed away, I was like, listen, I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I don't know what's going on.
Because you didn't have a support system.
I
probably felt like.
For me, you know, I felt like I was alone. I kept crying to God, like, I need your help. But he's like, this is a part of your story. You just going to be part of your story. Don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. And after that, you know, I just felt, you know, I felt like I was going to go crazy, because I was like, okay, I can't work. I can't go get a job anywhere. You know, 7 years after a felony, you know, 7 years, I go back to my place I worked at Wolverine Human Services after 7 years, but it's 7 years. That's a long time. What am I going to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I came up with this concept, and I had some individuals come and help me. I had, I started with the on Hollywood with the fallen celebrities, and that made me gain a little bit more money for that, because I started helping John from the group True, Miguel Nunez Jr., all the way from Michael Jackson Thriller, just to name a few. Jada from the Bad Girls Club. There's a lot of people helping to make me go out there, and people were just talking about me. And so I reconciled. I got a relationship actually with NBC, and from there we would just like start talking, and the person, Christine Colwyn, and about people and about things. So I started getting relationships to help me, and then I met my wife and stuff like that. But I was with her.
How did you? So Tiffany, tell me about when you first met Paul, and I mean, at first, was it a connection with you guys, and what happened when he actually revealed his story to you?
So when we first met, he initially reached out to me. I was just about to start a pageant for the first time, and he was in the process of creating a reality show that happened to start filming after the pageant was over. So we built a rapport over the phone until the time I met him three months after, and he didn't share the story yet because it was just we're filming for the reality show. There were 3 other girls were involved. It was a group of girls, and a lot of things happened with the reality show. A lot of jealousy and envy, a lot of girls trying to sabotage each other, and thankfully the show got dropped because one of the girls had a record. I think
usually when you have a warrant and somewhere like that Tower Banks a long time ago, somebody came picked up off the show. They don't do that anymore. If you have a warrant or something like that, they won't even do the show.
So you said thankfully the show got canceled.
Right.
Thankfully canceled because the way that it was going, he wasn't the only one trying to produce the show. As I started learning more about what the show would entail, it was not in my line of my character, and so it was a thankful thing.
Okay. And I mean, it was meant to be too.
Correct.
Yes, exactly. So when that fell through, Paul began sharing that he was helping fallen celebrities. He had Second Chance, and that lifted my spirits because I love helping people. And I basically told him, hey, I would like to speak to you. So we met up for dinner, and I told him, I'm really interested in Second Chance. I love helping people. I am willing to work and even get paid at all as as one of the founders. I basically sacrificed, I went all in, sacrificed my time trying to help produce the show. And then after we built a trust, after the events with the reality show, a lot of things happened where I was able to trust Paul and he was able to trust me.
Okay, nice.
We both began opening up about our stories. And so to answer your question, he started revealing slowly things that he accomplished. He was a 3-time world kickboxing champion. I didn't even know that he trained Sean Elliott till maybe almost a year after.
Right.
He started opening up way down the line after almost a year. And so we got a lot closer as business partners. We connected a lot faster.
Right. Okay.
Communicating, we started building a rapport relationship, and the friendship and business relations turned into eventually a relationship down the road.
That's awesome. So I mean, were you are you still uncomfortable about your story, or have you ever been uncomfortable about your story, Paul?
No, you know what? The person the person that I was actually dating that had the deal on her, she wrote up a rip-off report on me on rip-off report, but that's all in my bio too. Okay. And she tried to just frame my character as an individual to people, and I lost a lot of business partners because of that. They'll look it up like, man, he's a rip-off report, but the rip-off report don't state that I stole anything. It says that I was her contract. I got rid of her contract. It was just a woman sworn. She says, I don't even think he really was a bodyguard for Selena, which I was, and Abraham, everybody know that. Mm-hmm. I don't think he did this and that. Until people start looking up, they say, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, my story became a very powerful story because not only that, it was my family members that was going against me with this individual, this woman.
Wow.
My brother-in-law, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I was like petrified, scared that no one would ever work with me. But God said, no, it's going to be a part of your story. So now we
But
have,
look, but behind that, in that voice, you had hope. A lot of people
yeah,
lose hope.
I had a lot of hope and I had a lot of faith because I kept hearing voices from God saying, hey, this is a part of your story. Hold on, I got you.
Right. That's right. And you never turned to drugs?
I never turned to drugs. I never turned to anything. I would just, the people was like, you ain't in a straitjacket yet? Or you ain't, no, it's not. It's because all my life I've been a fighter, and just a lot of things I've done for people, like Chris Bird, he was a heavyweight champion of the world. I was his only sparring partner to help him beat Evander Holyfield, for the championship, and then he came and contacted me and we put on our show for Second Chance. But, it was just so many things I've done that people know who I really am and not the person who people persuade me to be. Even my family members or brother-in-laws or whoever done these things to me. And I just didn't know the contact of that situation. Like, why would they do this to their baby brother? Why would they do this to me? And it was just about a lot of jealousy and envy. And God says, sometimes family members can be jealous and envy of you too. I'm down and out. I'm in the rocks and you still kicking rocks on me. You still try to dig a grave for me. But, fortunately, God helped me through it all. And
absolutely.
I like me all over the world. And I'm like, wow, Lord, I mean, when you said you're going to give me 104, you wasn't playing, but the most.
So what were some of your steps that you took during that time to, whether that's staying positive, whether that was, looking for odd jobs to do, whether that was keeping your sanity, like what was your process during that time? And what was your self-talk like during that time?
I was, to me, I was confused. I wanted to find out what I can do to get myself back where I used to be at. And I couldn't get myself back to helping kids at the juvenile home because I couldn't use my degrees. The board dropped me. I was done.
Wow.
I had to find a way of how I can start highlighting, myself, my story, my heart to help the world. How can I do that? So that's when I started helping people. And I always help people. All my life, I always help them. And so, with that being said, I found myself just flowing, where I wasn't thinking about anything but just helping people. And as I was helping people, God was pulling me through different projects and to make not just myself, but my wife successful as well. And if you read her story, she went through a lot of things as well, not just myself. So he put two individuals together to complete it because he knew that I needed her because she is a great producer. She does great editing. She does all these things. Right. Even though we do it, she tell them where to put it at and how to do it, And so, again, if you go to our page, you'll see these little flicks of Jackie Christie, where she did a couple episodes. She actually came down and did some episodes for us, Don Rufo, a lot of people, Miguel Nunez Jr. All these people said, listen, Paul, I'm coming down to help you, because I believe in this show, So they came down. We had some hosts. We had Jackie Christie do like 6 episodes. She even came down in the pandemic when it was so bad at the beginning. And she said, I'm coming down. Are you my boy? I'm coming. So she came.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
I was like, wow, Jackie, because Jackie, everybody thinks she's this bad person, but underneath the skin, Jackie's a very beautiful, great person. She came down in this pandemic, and I felt so bad for her because I was like, no, Jackie, like it's so bad. And she came on the husband's hand, and he let her go. And at that time, I was like, oh my gosh, she's really coming. She came and she did the show.
Nice.
Wow, and ever since then, my wife was production, and she told me how to do it. We got a stage. I mean, we did the whole 9 yards, So I'm like, man, like God, you awesome God. You're not just getting.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, good. Oh my gosh, it's such an amazing story.
In my life
for you to share. Yeah, absolutely.
You get my life back, and now they come to do a documentary on me. I'm from Italy, and stuff like that. So it's been a big change for me,
Absolutely. And the thing is what I believe in is not to. Even when you're in the toughest times, is try your best not to worry, because it then leads you into desperation that will take you into all these different, places like drugs and meeting the wrong people that get you into the wrong kind of thinking and drugs and atmosphere, environments, and everything else.
Absolutely. There's times I've been homeless where I was cold in Michigan. They let me out 6 months of incarceration from child support. And I had shorts and a shirt on, and it was so cold. I didn't have any clothes. I lost everything again. And I went to this homeless shelter, knocked on the door, and the guy opened the door. And I guess he seen God in me. He says, "We're not taking anybody." I said, "Okay." I said, and I was about to leave. He said, "Hold on." He goes, "Come on, let me see what I can help you with." Took me there for a while, but I said, "This is not for me. This is not what I'm supposed to be. This is not it." And I kept that. I kept faith, and I got closer to God. I never gave up, because even though God said, "I give it back to you," He didn't say it's going to be years and years and years later. But at the same time, He said, "I give you hope, and people gonna know who you are."
Oh my goodness, that is powerful. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. So the thing that I wanted to ask you, and I know this was kind of a while back in the conversation, but I wanted to know, because you had mentioned how hard it was for you, even after 14 months,
Right.
and having a felony on your record, to try to get back into a normal life, finding a job and all that kind of stuff. So what do you say? What do you do, or what do you say to people who are going through a similar situation, but they have had done maybe 19 years?
Well, the thing I say is, like, there's a lot of help out there now. Back then, it wasn't help, but right now, get out of jail, they got all these programs and things. They can get them back on their feet, get them jobs. And unfortunately, at that time, that wasn't presented to me.
Right. Okay.
Trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was by myself. I called family members. They laughed at me. They wouldn't really help me. Oh, now you others, you're in prison too now.
It's over for you.
Done for me. They said they could have wanted to cutthroat me. They want to kick rocks on me. And then I was like, look, this not gonna happen to me. I can't let it. I already knew it. Matter of fact, it was a kid. I'm gonna tell you the story. As a kid, he was a juvenile. And he was at the time 13 years old, and he never forgot what I have done to him. He's 30 years old, 30-some years old now. And this individual kid was so bad, I talked to him and I built a rapport for him, and I made him what he is today. He hit me up on Facebook and he said, "Mr. Nutall," he said, that time you was incarcerated, you went to jail, everybody was laughing at you, we were bringing all the staff and stuff like that. And I just prayed for you. He said, "I knew you would come out of it because the brain and the mind state that you have," he said, "as an individual, I knew you would come out of it." He said, "I'm just going to tell you that thank you for providing for me and helping me out. Now I am married. I got 3 kids. I am in the military. I'm a recruiter now for the Marines."
Wow. That's amazing.
Everybody gave up on me except you. He said, "Remember that hour that you gave me?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Owl, it's a staff owl. It's like, if you've been with the staff for 25 years, we present him an owl, saying it's a statue." I presented him that owl because he passed all his school weeks. He started my boxing program, and he started being so great because I focused only on him, and I never gave up on him like the staff did. And he remembered it.
Yeah.
Up it every day. He said, "I got it right now. The only thing that's chipped," he said, "but I used it as a motivation tool because I remember you. And when I see what you in Hollywood, what you're doing, I just had to reach out to you and say thank you." I said, "Man,
that is so amazing." So the things that you do for other people, like, what do you expect anything back? Do you expect for them to say anything, do anything, or anything, especially when you're holding their hand, through thick and thin? Like, what do you expect?
I expect them just to appreciate themselves. I expect them to look what I've been through and try to take notes from me of what I've been through. That's what I expect. I don't expect anything else. I don't expect nothing at all. I don't expect money. I don't expect anything. I want to help you because I haven't been helped. And as I help you, you can help other people. You see? Right. So it's an action thing. I'm focusing on you. I'm helping you. Let's help other people. Right. Because especially color, we get the wrong end of the stick, basically, where a lot of other people just go neutral when they do, they keep going or something don't happen to them. As far as a black man, an educated black man, in fact, they'll just try to bring you down. They'll try to scarf you. And they still looking at me now like, okay, now he got forgotten prisoners. Now he got this. Let's see what he's going to do now.
That's beautiful. I love that. And so, Tiffany, with you and your story and how you connect everything together, like how do you come in, or where do you come in at when it comes to the show and talking to people? Do you actually go into your story at all?
So I go on interviews like this, because it was inspired initially from Paul and he's been through so much. I let them focus on his story, although I do have a story, and I know that one day it will come out. So I really I share it. But for my story, like you mentioned in the beginning, we had different paths. We went through the struggles, traumatic struggles, but they're different. So for me, I grew up in a family that told me that I had to be a doctor or a lawyer, or they wanted me to. And that wasn't what as I got older, that's not what I wanted to do. So I found out that I had a heart for business and helping people. And so it was really hard not having that support. So my parents basically told me, we won't support you financially if you're not going to go to school. That's fine. I at first was working 2 jobs while going to a financial firm, and that's where I got a life and health license. By the time I got licensed, I realized that wasn't the platform for me, and I moved on to doing real estate. That's when, at the same time as meeting Second Chance. And so I was doing a lot of different things, just trying to find out what is my niche. What do I love to do? I love to help people, but in what area? There's so many ways.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
And when I hired Second Chance, I was just, that's what I love to do. This is it. No matter if I have to support myself financially while we build this, I'm right. And so that started we got together, wanting to help people build what it is today.
But mom,
but my family, yes, but my family, they weren't as supportive during the time. It's hard not having support.
Right, it is.
Especially when they're in a way kind of going against you to an extent. But you have to just keep pushing through in what you believe in and what your heart. Right. So anyone here listening, if your heart is telling you one thing, but family and friends are trying to influence you otherwise, continue to forge that path to what you want to do, because that's what God put in your heart to do. And I
totally agree with you. I mean, many people know my story too. And as far as having that support, I didn't see it. I mean, no one gave that to me. Right. And I think it's partially because they've never seen me be obsessed or really focused towards anything else. Right. So when it came to that, me really following through and not letting anyone deter me from my destination, whether or not it's going to happen or not, it's something in me that's telling me that I need to continue on and do what I need to do. No matter how many detours it takes, or what direction it takes me in, I know that each one of those paths were meant to be, and it's just all interconnected in some way, shape, or form. And you start to learn that throughout life, that life just works in mysterious ways. Exactly. So so you're absolutely right about continuing on, because no one sees your vision like you do.
Yes.
And unfortunately, her family just owned her like mine did, because again, a black. I mean, it becomes where people they I don't understand. I just feel that they asked me, well, Paul, we didn't know about your story until we read up on it. When you guys in Hollywood Magazine, it went out. I got the book. It was a good director. I won't say his name, but he got the book and read it, and he contacted me. But I had to FaceTime to make sure that this is the person. But he was saying, I mean, if you look at your Facebook, if you look at everything, you could never tell you've been through this. You don't put stuff out there negative that's leading to saying this will happen to me. I'm my family died. Oh, my mom. None of this stuff. I mean, I initially had to get a private investigator to find out all these stuff is true. But he said at the same time, he says, you don't put things out there. It just seemed like if you saw you, I see you, that you never been through anything. People,
that's amazing.
Unless they dig deep to know who you are.
Right, yeah. And the thing I like about you is that you don't live in the past. Right. That's what it is. You have to learn to learn your lessons in life and move past that so you can grow. And that's the only way that you can evolve. Correct. By leaving things in the past. But making sure that you're learning the lessons that's meant for you for this lifetime. Right. Because if you just keep going in the past, obviously you haven't learned anything. You haven't learned any lessons.
And then, like I always say, don't let your past define your future.
Right.
Is that so? I have to lead by example. I have to go forward and move forward. I mean, when you teach something, it becomes a reality to you where you got to move forward and say, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this, but I know what I can do. So I'm not going to look at the past. I'm not going to look what happened to me. I'm going to look at my parents and all. It's people that just, like you said, overdose or went into depression because even their mom died, just your kids and then your dad and your mom, all these things. And then wrongly incarcerated. And then it's so much depression and so much confusion in your mind when you like, look here, man, what I'm going to do?
There too.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
Eventually something going to happen to you, but you have to move on out of that box and just start fresh. I mean, you're a new human being now. You're just like, okay, this happened. Get over this. Let me move forward.
Clean slate, right? You have to look at it like that. Like, let's make a clean slate. And I think what I do believe in self-talk and things that you put into your mind. And I do believe also that you can't just go with what you think you know. You have to get out there. You have to read. You have to talk to different people.
That's right.
Experience level up, experience more than what you've already experienced. Because what you know is not going to get you further along.
No.
You have to be in the right environments with people that's doing different things that can inspire you. That you can see through a totally different lens, a totally different perspective on life. And I always believed in seeing the world differently than I see it now.
Correct.
Right.
And,
yeah.
But you have to change yourself before you can change anything else. And with that being said, if anything was to happen to you, you just got to keep moving forward. We never ever done this before in our whole life, ever. This is my first time ever going to Hollywood, dealing with these celebrities, dealing with things. Our first time doing this, and they say, "You guys didn't go to film school?" Like, nah. Like we just started it and we banged it. And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna ask you a question." He says, "What are you gonna do with forgotten prisoners? Like, you can't go to these prisons and start interviewing anybody." I said, "No, I'm gonna bring the prison to us." He said, "How are you gonna do that?" And I explained it to him how I was gonna do it. He said, "Man, that's brilliant." I mean, minds like that, when you think like that, you can get it done.
I like that.
So when you go, I go to school for college. I have the master's in criminal justice political science. You learn about the law, but you really don't learn about life.
That's right. That's right.
Look about life or how it's going to come. I didn't know I was going to get arrested and incarcerated. I didn't know I was going to, all this stuff. I didn't know this. But then you got to be prepared for the unexpected, which people don't know about. You got to be unexpected. And then when you prepare for that, and you says, I knew this was going to happen. You a lot better and going forward than not knowing and not prepared. I was prepared for the unexpected. You got to have plan E, plan B, plan C, plan D. You got to have all these plans in the book because I didn't know anything about life. I figured that I was going to just stay boxer. I figured I was just going to stay with the juveniles for years and years and years. But God had another plan for me. He said, "Nah, I got something else for you." So
that's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the thing that you're really learning the most is you're talking to all these people that have been incarcerated and and you're learning what's going on behind the scenes. You're getting more insight, so that way you can help people in better ways than you would have without really talking and talking to the attorneys and knowing the real stories.
Right, correct.
Right, getting the knowledge that you need in order to get people from A to B.
Right,
and knowing that I don't have to hold your hand forever. You're going to be able to make it on your own after you have the knowledge that I've learned to be able to help you move along in this life after and being incarcerated.
Correct.
If you could just share, more about your next steps, the things that you're about to accomplish, and where people should look out for you at.
Okay, so our next step is going global. We're already talking to some people from UK so they can help their own country with our platform, Forgotten Prisoners and Second Chance Saves Lives. And we want to go global with every country so they can kind of do we don't depend on the United States. Let's just depend on our own country. They got the money to do it. They just don't know how the resources know how to do it. So we want to go global with this, just like McDonald's, and that's what we want to do. We want to go global. So to get in contact with us, you go to secondchancesageslives.org. That's a number 2. N is in Nancy, D is in dog, chance, CHANCE, saves, SAVES, lives, LIVES.org. And then you tell us, if you go into the thing, you hit it, it'll say Forgotten Prisoners, radio show, TV show. Which one you want? Then you hit it, Forgotten Prisoners, and you share your story and you submit it. Our Twitter is at Second Chance Saves. At number 2, ND, Second Chance Saves.
And just to break down each of the shows, we already spoke about Forgotten Prisoners, and we're helping the inmates who have been serving time too long or who are wrongly incarcerated. Second Chance Saves Lives is a little bit more different. It's for anyone who's just struggling, whether it's financially, needing a car, home, needing help with something in their lives. So that would be the show to submit on. And our Second Chance Radio TV show is more of an uplifting, encouraging, positive show where
like The View, something like that.
A guest who has been through things and has been given a second chance in their lives, and then has an organization or a business and is giving second chances to others. So we highlight their story, and to inspire the viewers, and we share what they're doing now and how they can get connected with their business or organization. And we have addition on there is a little segment for independent artists. Anyone who has their song, they submit to us as well, and we will share their song as long as they own 100% of the music, lyrics, and everything. We share their cover photo and their music so that they can get a shot at being heard across the nation.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh my gosh, you guys are hitting it on all the heads out there. I mean, that is amazing. That is really good, because that is giving people an opportunity to be heard once again, whether that's talking or through the music.
Yeah, exactly. So Second Chance Saves Lives TV show. A lot of people say, well, how are we going to get a second chance? If they go to Instagram, we always highlight things that's going to be on Fox. And, people all around the world see them and they will come and give them that second chance. Because a lot of people's a part of the move now. A lot of people's a part of Forgotten Prisoners now. So radio show, that's going to be on network too. So everybody get the chance. I guess she stated that they'll highlight the music and stuff like that. So we just try to world with everybody. Everyone
beautiful.
A helping hand that we didn't get on the way.
We didn't
get ourselves.
We didn't get a second chance. I was hoping I would have loved for someone to have a show like this or something like that when I got out.
Well, you did get a second chance.
Yeah, I did get a second chance.
Well, I mean, for not to, and it's not because you did anything wrong, but you were heard and you actually were able to get a second chance to tell a story and help people. Correct. That was the second. You probably would have never done this.
No.
To be able to do it the way you're doing it if that never happened.
Right, correct. I would have probably been still at Wolverine, or like
he had a long
something right.
Yep, I still have been in my job, but I guess you're right. You're absolutely right.
You gain a different perspective, and you're seeing the world in a different lens.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. So you are definitely, you got this second chance to be this person that you were meant to be, I would say.
Right.
I think
yes. Absolutely.
Right.
That's how I
Hearing other people say, help others,
exactly.
and just build this chain reaction thing all over the world so we can help everyone get a second chance. And I think it makes my heart, just sing that I got this platform now and I can do this, me and my wife,
I think it brings produce,
yes.
bringing the families and just the whole process. I noticed myself being more happy that I'm helping people, or just meeting the families and seeing the hope in their eyes when they come to the set. They're
absolutely
with them nervous, but after they have the experience on the set and being interviewed, they're like, thank you so much for having us on it. We had a great time. It was just a great experience aside from the show.
What we do is we fly you down, we give you a hotel, we give you food, board, we give you Uber from the plane to the hotel, from the hotel to the studio to the hotel, back to the plane.
Okay.
Don't have to worry about earning money or anything like that.
Have a good time.
We're going to take care of you.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I think it's much needed. People, you're bringing hope. The world is in chaos right now. And to bring people to a sense of reality, to know that there's something else and something more for them, and that you guys can kind of show them the way, and telling their stories will be one piece of the puzzle to share their stories and to try to correct what's happening right now. Because right now we are in kind of revelation of where we're exposing so many ill will things that's happening around the world. And
Right.
so with you guys having this show, once again, it's being revealed, exposed, and people will get a second chance in life, I believe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I thank you so much for being on the show. You guys,
Thank you.
amazing. I thank you so much for opening up and just telling your story like it is. And I mean, I know that people are on this broadcast because they know someone or they've heard the stories and they totally understand and feel where you guys are coming from with this and where you're headed with your productions on your documentaries and shows and radio, all of that. You guys are really doing it. So I really appreciate you guys.
And to tell a friend to
Yes.
submit.
Oh, absolutely. Look, they will. They will submit. Somebody will from this show, I'm sure, will submit a friend's story, their story to get on the show because the voices need to be heard. So with that being said, I'm just going to end the show by saying again, if anyone wants to be on the Renee Adams show, you can reach out to me, whether on Facebook or here on Instagram. So please stay tuned. It will be on IG as this is going to be my new platform, a new home for the Renee Adams show. Thank you, guys.
Adams show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Look forward to talking to all of you and see you tomorrow on Tuesday. All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Have a blessed day.
Bye.
Be safe. Thank you.
Bye.